Faculty of Computer Science here, and we're just super excited to have you joining us. So, who is the faculty? Well, we're 1,300 undergraduate students like you, almost 500 graduate students, more than 25 staff members who support advising, administration, student support, finance, technical services, instructional design, and all of the dimensions of your education. Okay. More than 45 faculty members in a wide range of research areas with really passion for teaching and communicating knowledge in computer science. The faculty is the largest and I believe the academically strongest computer science program here in the Maritimes, and it is fantastic to have you joining us. It's probably important to acknowledge we are in an odd moment, but rest assured, this isn't our first go at this. We had a full summer program with many classes running fully online. We're ready for you. So I wanted just to say up front just a few words of advice. For many students, I meet really on their first days and then at the end of a 4-year degree when they cross the stage. So I wanted to take just a couple of moments and to think about, for you to think about, and imagine it's 4 years hence, and maybe you're interviewing with Google, or you're talking to the founders of a new startup, or you're about to connect to that career that you've always imagined. So in that moment, what is going to matter? Well, that you have a computer science degree. Check. You wouldn't be at the end of the 4 years otherwise. The other two things that are going to really matter are what you know and what you can do. Your grade point average is a reflection of something, but it's not actually the core thing that matters. Okay? So really, I think collectively from the faculty, our advice to you would be to really focus on true learning over, a focus on grade farming. Okay? Be passionate and engaged about computer science. Find your niche, the thing that you really care about, and dig deep and explore it. Take advantage of all the opportunities that are afforded to you in this large and vibrant community that we have. Advantages around co-op, or engaging with innovation and entrepreneurship through ShiftKey Labs, or engaging with our fantastic student societies. Really, over the next 4 years, you're laying a foundation for your career in life. And really, what's going to matter is what you know and what you can do at the end of the day. Okay, so enough for advice. I want to introduce you to some really important people who are here to welcome you. I'm going to, maybe I could ask each of the presenters in turn to come off onto video. So we have Dr. Christian Blouin, who is our Associate Dean Academic, and we'll be talking about the Bachelor of Computer Science programs. Dr. Angela Siegel, the Director of the Bachelor of Applied Computer Science program. Angela. I'm sure she will pop up in a moment. Okay.
I'm here.
Fantastic. Olivia, President of the Women in Technology Society, and Manjula, who is our Director of Technical Services. Hi, Manjula.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so today is really more of a welcoming session than an information session, but I suspect that you have lots of questions. So please do put them in the chat window. We're going to endeavor to answer them, or as many of them as we can, at the end of this session, but we are going to have to close really on time because many people have classes to go to. But if we don't get to your question, we will follow up during the next week. Okay. This is not our only way to connect. We have a new facility here at DAL called the DAL mobile app. Within it, the Faculty of Computer Science has its own group. I encourage you to download that app and let's begin the discussion. If you look in the chat window, you'll see a link to how to do that, courtesy of Rebecca. Okay, so onwards and upwards. First, I'd like to introduce Christian Blouin, our Associate Dean Academic, who's going to talk a little bit about the Bachelor of Computer Science program. Christian, over to you.
Thank you. So I'll just give a brief overview of the Bachelor of Computer Science. Not that I assume you're not familiar with, since many of you have signed up for the degree. But I think one important thing we want to do today is give you a chance to ask and have your question answered. The Bachelor of Computer Science is the traditional bachelor degree for computer science. It aligns with a standard curriculum that we find across North America, and very much aim at bringing our graduates at the edge of the technology. So when we think about AI and computer science, we don't so much think about how AI applies a business problem, but more what is the next generation of AI, for example. I think it's a good way to sort of think of computer science. What does that mean in first year? It means that you have to build your mathematical foundation. That's largely, I would say, the main difference between the Bachelor of Applied Computer Science and the Bachelor of Computer Science in the first year. And I suspect that many of you may have questions about the mathematical foundation because some courses have changed recently. So I'll be more than happy to clarify this when questions arises. But I don't want to take too much time, so it gives more time for you.
Thank you, Christian. Okay, and Angela?
Hi, welcome everybody. I'm Angela Siegel, and I'm the program director for our Bachelor of Applied Computer Science program. For those of you that are in a BCS track, the Bachelor of Computer Science, you'll also get to see me this year in Discrete Math for Computer Science, CSCI 1315. So I'll get to see everybody at some point in time. So the main difference, as Christian pointed out, is that there's a slightly different focus from the BCS track to the Bachelor of Applied Computer Science, or BACS track. And that is we focus a bit more on the management aspect. So instead of the algorithmic focus and the mathematical foundation that our CS students get, you're going to get a management focus and acquire some business acumen that would be optional electives for CS students. And so we're going to prepare you to collaborate and connect with those that we would typically be creating for within computer science. So that being said, where CS students might get a mathematic background in the first few years of their degree, you would acquire a management focus and a business acumen. And in our second, third, and fourth years of your program, you would be a part of a project course, which is really exciting. And you get to look at development from many different angles, including that project management lens. So I think it's super exciting, and can't wait to have you join us.
Thank you, Angela. Olivia,
Hi.
you want to say a few words about WITS?
I'm Olivia. Welcome from all of the undergrad societies. In the faculty, we have the Computer Science Society, the Women in Tech Society, and we also have the ComSci Grad Society. I am the president of the Women in Tech Society, which is also just known as WITS. Yeah, so a little bit about what WITS does. I can't speak for the other ones, but we are like making sure that everybody has a welcoming community. Everyone knows that we're a space that you can go to if you need to talk about anything. we're going to be hosting some events coming up in the next few weeks and over the coming months where we're really focusing on making sure that female identifying students and people who don't identify as the gender majority make sure that they have a place that they can feel comfortable. So keep an eye out in your emails for emails from us. We have a peer mentorship program running, and we're starting that really soon. So if you're interested in really getting to know the community, having someone to reach out and talk to, like that would be a really good thing for you to get involved with. So yeah, just keep an eye out for us. We're really like responsive if you want to reach out to us on social media or emails. So just, yeah, hi.
Fantastic, thank you. Manjula.
Okay, I just had to unmute my mic. So welcome. Ordinarily, my team, which is the technical services team, would be in the building, scattered between the 3rd floor and the 1st floor. However, we're all working from home, but still 100% supporting you guys. We're doing a technical orientation session on Monday and Friday of next week. That should be in your schedules. So that is basically tech, but I'm going to give you a very high level that we're here to support you. We have an academic infrastructure with GitLab and a virtual cloud environment called OpenStack. You will become all familiar with this as you get through your studies. We are still having someone at the help desk twice a week physically on Mondays and Thursdays from 10 to 1. So if you have any issues or questions that you really need face-to-face support, we will be there with full PPE, and we recommend you wear yours as well. And we will be there in physical presence. So, but more details next week if you want to join us. And we will be recording this session and the technical services orientation session as well, so you can come back to it if you miss it.
Wonderful.
Good luck.
Thank you. So that's it by way of introductions. So we're going to move on now to the sort of question section of this. Maybe I'll start with one of the questions that's popped up here, which is there a difference between BCS and BACS? And would there be a difference in finding jobs related to software engineering or any other related field? Great question. So, number one, these degrees are variants of each other, okay? They share a really strong common core. No matter which of these 2 degrees you go through, as you exit the end of the 2nd year, you're going to be a confident programmer, okay? How they really differ, as Angela and Christian pointed out, is a little bit in their focus. If I was to kind of sum it up in a short way, I would say the BCS degree is about becoming a designer and creator of new software technologies, where the BACS degree is really about harnessing technology for organizational good, knowing how to evaluate technologies, understand them, and connect them to making changes, whether you're in a company or a social organization. So the focus means that you're going to get in the BCS more mathematics and some deeper, narrower technical courses in the later years, where in the BACS you're going to have more project-oriented courses, more courses that connect to management, and the like. The reality is co-op placements and career placements for both of these programs are very strong. I would suspect that 70%, 75% of the jobs out there, students from both programs would be natural applicants to, okay? And it's only kind of at the extremes that it may really matter. I should say also that there are good pathways between these programs, so don't worry. If you wake up one morning and you go, you know what? I picked one, but you know what? I think I want to do the other. there are pathways to help you get there, and you connect to the student advising, and we'll support you in that journey. Okay, Christian. Oh, and you know what? I forgot. You also, Christian is going to talk a little bit about his role as the Associate Dean Academic and all things administrative before we go on.
This is a glamour part of the orientation right here. The Associate Dean Academic is responsible for the program, for teaching, and for TAs and curriculum and so on. So when it comes to programming, when you have questions or concerns, I will give you a couple pointers for particular need, but in the end, feel free to reach out to me. I'm fairly easy to find. Before you start worrying about what is going to happen 10 years down the road, I would like to preempt a few of the most common questions we have with brand new students. First of all, your courses are going to take place on Brightspace. So if you have not visited Brightspace yet, it's dal.brightspace.com. You can access that from your MyDal account, and your courses will come online. They should mostly have been activated today. But if a course is not active, there is nothing wrong. It will become active before the first lecture takes place. So if you don't see one of your course, there is no cause for concern nor panic. Just hang on until the first lecture, and the course should open and you should be able to view it. That's a very common concern. Computer science has decided to function a little differently than other faculties. So if you take courses in arts or in sciences, they are completely asynchronous. In CS, we really want to have the opportunity to interact with people. And therefore, we have maintained a timetable, and every course have a place and time on the schedule for you to possibly interact synchronously. The way each course is delivered depends on the course, depends on the prof. So going to the first session, looking up the material on Brightspace will give you that information as to how things are going to go. But for most of our courses, you should expect that there will be an opportunity to be at the same time and place as your instructors or TAs, whether it's in a lecture or in a lab. And that is actually quite different than many asynchronous courses across campus. Abe, most labs are not running in the first week. But again, the details are going to be provided on Brightspace. And if Brightspace is not active, then you can be sure that there is no lab nor tutorials going on. Soon you will receive an email. So your dal.ca email account is very important. This is legally the only way we can get in touch with you. So monitoring this email address is very important. You will receive lots of information. We strive to send only what's necessary to you, so you don't end up being flooded with extraneous information. One of these important emails that will come to you is about the Learning Center. We are staffing most of the week, day and evening, a learning center where students can drop in and ask questions about particular courses. This usually does not start right at the beginning of the term, so but you should expect to see an email within the next 2 weeks telling you where to go. There will be an option to use Microsoft Teams, and traditionally a Discord server has been used. So if you're uncomfortable with Discord and you want to use Teams, that's fine, and vice versa. So all these details will come through your dal.ca email address. A lot of our business is done through Teams. So scarily enough, we're all one click away of each other, of opening a chat. This is true between students, and it's true to faculty or teaching assistant. But I would really encourage you to use the communication channels that your prof are communicating are the best one, because if everybody starts just sending text or emails without any structures, then the prof at the other end end up being overwhelmed and the response time becomes slow. So really paying attention for each class, what is the most effective communication channel, whether it's a discussion board on Brightspace, is going to make things better and get you an answer to your question faster. We have a super awesome advising team in the faculty. I have posted the link with the schedule at the very beginning of the chat. So once my lips are not moving at the same time as my finger, I'll repost the link. If you want an appointment, we have one email address, and this one I'll type it right away: undergrad@cs.dal.ca. Okay. And this is our central point for appointment for advising. Now, if you're asking for an appointment today, don't expect a fast turnaround, because this is one of the worst day of the year, because it's one of the busiest. I would recommend that you look for the drop-in advising. We used to call it the 5-minute advising, and everybody would make a long line, have their question answered, and then move on. Then we have an online model for this. I would really recommend that before you drop a class or before you add classes, that you bounce your idea by someone. Because sometimes something that looks impossible from a student's perspective
Now, that is interesting. Christian appears, at least from my perspective, to have frozen.
He has a fairly. I'm not frozen.
Ah, welcome back.
Yeah, welcome to the internet. So I don't know when I froze, but the point that I want to drive is when you are making important decision on sequencing of your courses, talking to an advisor is quite useful. At the beginning of terms, it's better to use the drop-in advising, but when it's quieter, having the chance to sit down and talk to an advisor for 20 minutes is actually a very valuable way of planning ahead. I will post the link to videos that were made by one of your colleagues, Johan Dai, who was a co-op student for the faculty this summer, and he produced a bunch of videos that are meant to be orientation videos for new and incoming undergraduate students. So I highly recommend that you have a look. And the last thing that I want to say before we open up for question, if you have any concerns regarding accessibility, so whether you need special accommodation because of a life circumstances or a medical accommodation, then you should get in touch as soon as possible with the Accessibility Center and work this out, so your prof receive a letter that says this student needs a longer period of time to write an exam, and this way your prof does not need to know any of your circumstances. That is the proper way of doing things. I'm saying this today because from experience we know people wait until it's too late and then something bad happened and we need to fix things retroactively. So if you have any concern regarding accessibility issues, I encourage you to be proactive and do that right away. And this is the end of my bullet list. I'm happy to answer questions.
Fantastic. Thank you, Christian. Kind of scanning down the Christians, the questions, not the Christians. I see sort of questions about co-op, coming up. Christian, do you want to say a couple of words about when students apply for co-op, when does co-op start, and what happens in the summer of the first year?
Absolutely. So first disclosure, right now my chat is not updating, so I can't see the comments. co-op is something that starts in the summer of the second year. Okay, and so if you're a transfer student and you have some of the co-op prerequisite, then sequencing may be different, and that's a matter of talking with the the co-op advisor. But in principle, your first year, you just go on, you build your foundation. In the fall of the second year, you enroll into a seminar that helps you prepare for the co-op program. It's a 0 credit course. And in the winter of your second year, you enter the job competition for your first co-op term in the summer of your second year. If you do this, then there are no more summer vacation. It will be work in the summer, study in the fall, work in the winter, study in the summer. So the third year summer term is an academic term for co-op students. And that extends the degree only by 1 term. Okay, so the what could be perceived as a delay is actually minimal. And I would argue that getting 3 work experience as part of the degree is incredibly more valuable than finishing 3 months ahead of the co-op students.
Just to add to that, I've talked to many students 6 months after they've graduated. I'm always interested in hearing about what's happening in their lives. I have never had the experience in talking to a student 6 months after they've graduated, if they did co-op, where they say, I'm still looking for work, I'm unemployed, help me. Okay, I haven't had many of those experiences in total, but when they've happened, they've typically been for somebody who has not built up that work experience over those years. So co-op is just incredibly valuable in terms of how it puts you a step ahead on your career. But more than that, it gives you an opportunity to sample different parts of the tech industry and figure out what you're really passionate about. So I would highly recommend it for most students. And you can see that's kind of echoing in the chat window. So we're going to try and be on time today. We've reached the end of our time, but we do have a couple of more detailed questions in the chat window. We will follow up with you about those questions. So again, welcome to the faculty. It's just fantastic to have you. There's never been a better time to be studying computer science. Just think about the future that we're in. It's absolutely digital. It's absolutely digitally mediated. The demand for people who have an education in computing has never been stronger. So, congratulations for starting. We're looking forward to spending the next 4 years with you. Bye, everybody. Have a great day. Talk to you again soon.